Will begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
President-elect Donald Trump is doubling down on a key campaign pledge and promising cost is not an issue. But the American Immigration Council, a pro-immigrant advocacy group, says if Mr. Trump truly means to deport everyone, there are more than 13 million undocumented people in the United States. The council says deporting so many people would incur a one-time cost of $315 billion. It also says 4.6% of the U.S. workforce would be gone, with particularly big impacts on the construction, agriculture, and hospitality industries. On a human level, fear is growing in immigrant-friendly cities like New York, where there was a rally last night.
Every single person that I come in contact with, the community I live in, everyone's going to be impacted.
New York is a so-called sanctuary city, meaning the NYPD and other city agencies cannot by law cooperate with federal immigration officials. But under the weight of the migrant crisis that has strained his administration, Mayor Eric Adams has lamented the lack of cooperation with the feds, especially when it comes to migrants who commit crimes. Adams has been hesitant to criticize President-elect Trump's immigration rhetoric and would not say if he discussed deportations with Mr. Trump when they spoke by phone after the election.
And again, I'm not going to go into private conversations.
When pressed for specifics about what would happen at the extensive network of migrant shelters, NYPD Chief of Department Jeff Madry said little would change for now.
We provide security out there already, and we're going to stay in the same posture. And, as things progress, I'm sure the mayor, under his leadership, he'll give us direction.
I was actually at an event with President-elect Trump about a month before the election when he said local police would cooperate with mass deportation. Again, that's illegal across the tri-state. In all three states, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, there's sanctuary status, meaning immigration detainers are not honored, Corey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Vary. Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to go over a video, Dana Bash interviewing Senator-elect Jim Banks about the mass deportations that will hopefully be getting underway starting day one when Donald Trump gets sworn in January 20th. Let's take a watch and a listen, and we'll comment along the way.
By CNN's count, Republicans have now flipped 3 Senate seats with the potential of picking up another, setting themselves up to have at least 52 seats in the U.S. Senate. I'm joined now by one new member of that majority, Senator-elect Jim Banks of Indiana, who currently serves in the House. Congratulations, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
One of the top issues in your campaign was immigration and the border. What is the first thing that you want the president-elect to do?
Well, I have no doubt. Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated on January 20th. He's going to hop in a car, drive down Pennsylvania Avenue, swing the door open of the Oval Office, and he's going to immediately sign executive orders to go back to the effective Trump policies like remain in Mexico, allow us again to build the wall at the southern border, and then end catch and release. And that's the perfect Trump formula to begin the process to secure the border. What's different about this time from last time is he's going to have backup in the Congress to support him to do it. And
That's correct. Congress is much different than it was when Trump first got in. A lot of the people in Congress now are there because of Trump. They came in under Trump's image, really. They're MAGA. And the establishment rhinos are hanging on by a thread. And even though there's some still there, and some of them are still pretty powerful, hopefully they see the writing on the wall, too, where if they don't fall in line now with the MAGA agenda, they will be next. Because this last election was such an overwhelming mandate, especially for a Republican, one that we haven't seen in decades, really, since Ronald Reagan. The George Bush 2004, a little different and a different time. You had the Iraq War going on. You had so many other things going on. But this is the most sweeping mandate since Ronald Reagan for a Republican president. So either fall in line or you'll be next to be shown the door.
We will give him the funding that it takes to fully build the wall, to support our Border Patrol agents, to do their important work. But it's going to start with those executive orders on day one. Joe Biden overturned all of those Trump policies on his first day in office, and Donald Trump's going to immediately reverse that and go back to what we know will work.
You told the Indy Star yesterday, quote, "We're going to begin the process of deporting the over 15 million illegals that have come into this country under Joe Biden's watch." First of all, just to better understand what the actual policy and how it's going to be executed will be, do you see all undocumented immigrants as should they all be kicked out of the country?
Yes.
Well, some conservative estimates say that there are at least 15 million illegals who have come into the country on Joe Biden's watch.
That is a staggering number, and it's probably low. That is staggering.
It's my hope that we deport every single one of them that we can. And it starts with deporting violent criminals who are in the United States, who came here illegally, who have committed violent crimes. And I think once you do that, President Trump is committed to making that his first and top priority when it comes to mass deportation. And then also on top of that, increase the penalties on businesses who hire illegals in our country and take away the incentive for them to be here and for them to come here. And I think many of them will leave on their own. But this the mass deportation plan needs to be an immediate focus of the House and the Senate. I believe when the dust settles, we're going to have a even bigger majority in the House, still a slim majority, but a bigger majority by a couple of seats in the House. And we'll have the ability to work together in both chambers to fund the mass deportation effort and give the president the backup that he needs to make it happen.
So just to be clear, I know you say that it would be the people who are criminals first, but then ultimately every undocumented immigrant in this
Illegal
country, even those who perhaps are deemed by their neighbors as contributing to society or perhaps.
So what? Good for you. Go back out and reapply to come back in the right way like everybody else did. It's that simple. That's what every other country, every other serious country when it comes to their border does. They don't accept this nonsense. The fact that the number is even thought to be 15, and that's probably low, that happened in the last 4 years, that's treason. That is treason what happened to this country in the last 4 years. The mess that we have to clean up now, that we are, and now we have to pay for it again to get them out. People are going to be willing to do that, to have their tax dollars pay for that. But the amount we've already lost, the cost to this country because of the deliberate opening of the border by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Alejandro Mayorkas, the cost, not only the lives that were lost to the criminals that came in, just the monetary cost on top of that. It's really disturbing how kind of swept under the rug it is, and it's not given the scrutiny it deserves. It's so irresponsible, and the media is so irresponsible.
Those who are married to
so are a lot of our politicians too, by the way, on both sides. The Uniparty, so irresponsible.
American citizens or legal immigrants. That's it. Children, adults, older people, they all should be gone.
Yes.
The American people spoke loud and clear on Tuesday. They gave this president and Republicans a mandate to do everything that we can. The goal should be to deport every illegal in this country that we can find. And as I said a moment ago, if you take away the incentive for them to come here in the first place by turning up the pressure on those who employ illegals, then you've taken away the incentive. They're going to go back to where they came from. So you start with the violent criminals. That Americans are counting on President Trump and Republicans to send them back to reduce violent crime in this country. But I think the goal has to be, and the American people expect it to be, to deport those who came here illegally.
And how does that work? I mean,
how it works is, see, you find them, you handcuff them because they broke the law, you place them under arrest, you put them in a car, a bus, a wagon, patty, whatever you want to call it, and you drive them back across the border. And you drop them in Mexico and say, they're your problem now because you allowed them to march through your country. In fact, probably help them march through your country and cross our border illegally. So now here you go. Have a nice day. Here's some water. We'll even give you some food for a couple of days. And now Mexico. Have at it, pal. Take care of it now. It's all yours.
That's a huge undertaking. How does that even actually work?
We're the United States of America. We could do anything. Isn't that what Joe Biden always says?
Realistically.
No doubt about it. President Trump said yesterday that it could be costly, but the American people deserve it to do everything that we can to return sanity back to this country.
The money is one thing, but I'm talking about like how does it work? If you just pick Indiana, for example, how do you want the federal government to go about finding people and physically getting them out of the country?
It's amazing how they question how is the government going to find these people? If the government wanted to find anyone they wanted in probably less than an hour, they could. They could. Try this, everybody. Don't pay your taxes this year. See if they find you. Don't pay your taxes. Leave your house. Go hide somewhere. Go. See if they find you. I bet you they will find you. I bet your house that you left on it that they will find you.
I don't think this is that complicated. I spoke with a local sheriff in Indiana earlier today who's ready. Local law enforcement is ready to go to do what it takes to help with the mass deportation effort. But if you take away those incentives from business and put pressure on businesses who hire illegals in this country, then many of these, maybe most of those who are here illegally, are going to go back on their own. And that's what Donald Trump and Republicans in the House and the Senate are focused on. I think it begins with deporting violent criminals. It's not that hard to find them. And if you take away the incentive, many of them will go back to where they came from.
Well, on the incentive, I do want to ask you about that, because you know that you will get some pushback by people in your own party who are sort of business-minded Republicans.
Well, then they need to be primaried and told they will be primaried. And the next leader of the Senate, hopefully it's not Cornyn, or maybe it'll be Tim Scott. That would be, I would take Tim Scott. They are told your money is cut off. You want to campaign again? You're going to have to take it out of your own pocket. You're not getting any help from us. Start playing hardball with these people like the Democrats do. They don't have Democrats get out of line. You're either in or you're out. And you know what? It's time the Republicans did the same thing in Congress. You're either in or you're out.
Who will say, we need these people. They are workers that really fuel our businesses.
No. We have plenty of workers in the United States that aren't working. They're sitting home getting a check, and they've never ever been to work and haven't earned that check in any single way, ever. Those people need to be told, you're able-bodied, we have a job for you. Yeah, but I live in Indiana and the job's in Texas. Great. We'll pay for you to move. Then you're going to take the job and now you're on your own. How's that? That would save us money in the long run. That's what you're told. You're taking this job, or because right now you have we'll give you 30 days and your checks end. This is the last check you get this month. Then that's it. We have a job for you. Let's go. Get your hard hat. Get to work. That's it. Enough of this nonsense. There's plenty of Americans who are sitting home, able-bodied, who've never earned anything. And they will continue to do so. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they've done, where they're from. I don't care what race they are. Get to work. Get to work. We have plenty of jobs for you now. Get to work.
And then aside from business, just even taking agriculture as an example, I want to read a quote from Michael Marsh, President and CEO of the National Council of Agriculture Employees. He says, from an employer standpoint, you're very concerned when you hear somebody talk about deporting a significant amount of the existing workforce. What do you say to him and others who really do rely, even hospitality, who rely on these undocumented migrants?
A mandate is a mandate, and the president winning the popular vote on Tuesday is a strong signal that this is what the American people, the public, expects us to do. And only Republicans who completely misread the moment, who don't understand what the mandate means, and I don't think there are very many of them left in Congress. It's a much different Congress makeup today than what it was in 2016 when President Trump was first elected. You don't have Republicans in the House and the Senate who will fight back against President Trump to do what the American people want him to do, to deport illegals and to secure the border. The American people are counting on us to do it, and that will be our focus.
Before I let you go, the filibuster is something that you're going to have to contend with potentially now that you are going to be in the U.S. Senate, not a House thing. The Republicans, of course, don't have 60 votes and will not get 60 votes after all the dust settles. So as long as the filibuster does remain in place, Democrats will have the ability to block legislation. Do you want to keep the filibuster, or do you believe that the Republicans should consider trying to find a way to do away with it?
Well,
Trap question, and he handles it beautifully.
Remember, Democrats campaigned on doing away with the filibuster.
Right.
And
so what do you
the
think?
voters spoke loud and clear on Tuesday. We're likely to have 53, maybe 54 Republican senators. We don't need to do away with the filibuster. We should have at least 3 bites at the apple of a legislative process and maneuver called reconciliation,
Bingo.
which will avoid the 60-vote rule. The Democrats used it to massively expand the federal government when they had both the House and the Senate in Joe Biden's first 2 years, and Republicans are already preparing the way to use reconciliation to do things like bring down the cost of groceries, to bring energy production back to the United States, and to undo the massive expansion of the federal government and federal spending. And that will bring down inflation in our country, and reconciliation is a way to do it, to allow for a simple majority vote in the United States Senate.
So it sounds like you're saying, no, keep the filibuster in place.
You can keep the filibuster. You use reconciliation. We could use it 3 times in 2 years because we have 3 opportunities to do it. And I think Republicans were ready to go. We've been preparing for this moment. That's a big difference between 2016 and 2024 as well. We're prepared. We're ready to go. Donald Trump knew he was going to win on Election Day, and he knew it for a long time. And he's been preparing his team and Republicans in the Congress to get things done.
Well, there you go. And what he just said all sounds great, and he's correct. You got to do it. Now you got to do it. There's no excuses now. Yeah, 2016, it was new. Trump was new. You had plenty of Republicans who were outwardly speaking against him at that point. You also had Paul Ryan in control of the House, who was completely anti-Trump before, once the Billy Bush tape came out in 2016, Paul Ryan was all out on him. The fact that Trump won shocked him. He wanted nothing to do with Trump, to be honest. Still doesn't. He's working for Fox News now. He's on the board of Fox News, Paul Ryan. So we have a much more Trump-friendly Congress. And as I said, any of these Republicans who think they want to play games now and not go along with the agenda, they better be in for a rude awakening from the people closest to them in the Senate and House. Either you get with the program, Mike Johnson, you're the speaker, get with the program, or you are cut off. You will be done. We will primary you. We will make sure you're primaried. We will bankroll somebody to primary you. So, they have to get it done. There's no excuse now. The whole thing with, again, what about our workforce? What about our workforce? See, this is all part of the Cloward Piven strategy. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. Even look it up at Wikipedia. They even give a pretty accurate description of what it means. Basically, in short, it's what they tried to do with this mass immigration is crash the system. If they had 4 more years, if Kamala Harris would have won, they would have crashed the system to the point where the whole system would have to be rebuilt in their image, which is the socialist image. So this stopped that. Trump winning stopped it just in time, in my opinion, just in time. So now it's time to reverse that, and it's got to be done quickly. You can't mess around. There can't be haggling on the Republican side about nonsense. It has to get done. So you also notice in that Dana Bash's her tone was way, way more subdued and less combative than it usually is when it comes to interviewing a Republican or a conservative. I think even kind of they see the writing on the wall here, like the people really have spoken this time. So let's maybe tone it down a little bit, because it didn't work last time. And the more I think, the more they do that, the more they kept being combative and not letting people answer questions and acting like they were debating instead of interviewing, which is really the journalist is supposed to interview, ask tough questions, but not debate. I want to see if that continues. We'll see. We'll see. But I thought that was interesting too. It's just kind of something I noticed as I was watching. I wonder if you did too. If you did, let me know in the comments. Hope you guys like this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let's see. I haven't had Trump in a while. Let's see what he has to say about this.
And then I tweeted, you're going to have many millions between Facebook and Twitter. It's great. It's like owning a newspaper without the losses. It's incredible.
All right. What else? One more.
Thank you. God bless you. And God bless America.
All right. We will leave it there. Continue to follow me at Opinions Vary.